singer for a band that they haven't made an album in a couple of decades now, and it's really exciting that they have a new one. It's called The Symbol Remains. This guy's been making music since the late 60s. So let's welcome in Eric Bloom from Blue Öyster Cult.
Yes.
Hey there, everybody.
Hey, Eric. I'm here with musician PJ Farleym.
How you doing, Eric? Pleasure.
You're really good.
Yeah.
We just got a couple of days left. This album comes out October 9th.
Yeah, and yeah, let's face it, what's a few decades between friends when it comes to making albums? Why was this the time for Blue Öyster Cult?
Well, it's a long story. Obviously, it's 19 years, but we've been on tour ever since the last two albums came out. And considering the last label we were on didn't do the greatest job, and it takes us a year to make a new record. So a year off of the road is painful for us to get creative, make a new album, spend a year not touring. So we decided we'll wait till we have a good marriage with a new label before we'll do that again. And the last label went out of business, so we've been waiting for a good label to make a marriage with. And in the meanwhile, about halfway through that time, we got a good new lineup. With Jules Rodino on drums, Danny Miranda on bass, Richie Castellano on guitar and keyboards, and maybe that unit's been together 5-6 years now. And so Buck and myself really wanted to get this unit on tape. So in this COVID situation, actually before COVID started, we started recording and writing last summer, and got most of the material down. And then got post-COVID, we started recording in lockdown and recorded most of the stuff, all the guitars, all the keyboards, all the lead vocals in lockdown from our homes. And that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's 14 songs on the album, and it covers so much ground. Eric, are these songs that you had been working on while you had been staying out on the road supporting the other albums, or this was strictly, all right, we got the new guys, we got the fresh energy in the band, and we're going to write the new music with those guys?
I would say maybe 60-40. Some of the songs were written over the years and never released. And I would say 60% of the stuff is brand new, written in 19.
Okay.
And we started writing and rehearsing in late 19, summer, fall of 19. And interesting writing process. I wrote 3 songs with Richie Castellano, who's a Staten Island resident and a terrific guy. And he actually was the pivot man on a lot of this stuff, because he's the guy that did a lot of the engineering and stuff and co-produced the album. And
he sings a bit on the album too.
Yes, and that's what makes this album a little different for our hardcore fans, because the hardcore fans know Richie's been in the band for 14 years, but here he is singing lead for the first time.
Yeah, it's really cool, the mix of songs on there, Eric. That's why I asked if they've been written over a certain period of time, because you have the stuff that to me sounds like BOC classics. There's a great song called Florida Man on there that to me just sounds like, it kind of, it's a modern topic but hopped out of the 70s. And then you go kind of heavy metal on a couple of the songs, like Stand and Fight. So there's a real wide variety of stuff.
Stand and Fight.
Yeah, and you have to say it like that for it to count.
Yeah, obviously one of my songs.
Yeah, so yeah, you went real metal on that one. So there's just a lot of different flavors and textures throughout the album, and hardcore fans will recognize the classic sound, but new fans will also pick up on all the other kind of styles that you do. And I'll just say this, in a sane world, Nightmare, Epiphany would be a radio hit. It'd be right up there with Reaper or Burning for You.
Well, that's a Buck song, and obviously he wrote "Don't Fear the Reaper" and "Burning for You," and so people will recognize him as the voice of our hits. So a lot of his songs are very clever. He's a great songwriter and has that smooth voice that people recognize. And He sings 6 songs on this record, and there are 3 videos out already on YouTube that we did sort of quick and cheap. Sorry, but we wanted to get something out ASAP. And the night before the release on the 9th, which is just a few days away, there'll be one more video released.
Okay, yeah, because a lot of bands now they're doing or they're putting out a video for every song, and I sort of thought that was the direction you guys were going when I saw all 3 videos pretty much out around the same time. But you got 14 songs. I mean, that's a lot of videos.
Yeah, it's a double vinyl, and we had a lot of creative juices going, and we're getting a lot of good feedback so far, so we're just hopeful.
The reviews look great. I'm really happy for you guys, especially to come back this strong after, a layoff from recording new music. And I'm going to put this out there because, Eric, I love when these legacy bands are still putting out new music. And it's so important to get the word out to everybody that bands like BOC, yes, they're still around. Yes, they still tour. Yes, they're going to play the hits, but they still put out new records. And I got to say, I mean, I easily put this record up with Agent of Fortune and Cultosaurus. I mean, call me crazy, but to me, this could be the best Blue Öyster Cult album in your career.
Well, a lot of people are giving it 5 stars, so it's we're not trying to honk our own horns, but we worked hard on it. We were not going to put out crap, and we think it's worth a listen if people want to. First of all, the videos are out there on YouTube. Take a listen. And October 9th tells the tale of 14 new tracks.
Yeah, and again, just a great collection of songs. Are you kind of relieved now that you put out a record and you don't have to jump back out on the road because you sort of been in that cycle, or is it kind of cool to sit back and gauge the interest of the fans and then figure out post-COVID how much touring you want to do?
Oh, we've crossed off about 40 gigs already this year, so they all got shifted into 21. This week we're supposed to be on tour in England with Deep Purple, and wish that had really happened. Everything is shifted into 21. We're hoping all those gigs that we missed will actually get played. And, I was talking to Alice Cooper the other day on the phone, and, we're all in the same boat. Everybody who tours like we do about 100 shows a year, and we wish we could be working.
Yeah, so much like everybody. I want to ask you about one of your classic tours. Like, PJ, remember back in the day, it's the Black and Blue tour, Black Sabbath, Blue Öyster Cult.
Oh, yeah.
But we didn't have social media back then, and we were Jersey guys. Like, we cut grass for a living. We couldn't afford to go to every show, and it seemed like it was almost an urban myth for years. Like, I didn't know anybody who ever saw that tour. And I only found out maybe about 5 years ago that it really was an actual tour because you couldn't look it up on YouTube back then.
No coverage in circus?
It was 1980.
Yeah. So I wanted to see if, you could share any memories from that tour, you guys and Sabbath touring together.
Question.
Well, it was great. It was the Dio Sabbath, not the Ozzy Sabbath.
Okay, right.
And so it was the Heaven and Hell era.
Whew.
And it was great because Ronnie was a good buddy of ours. And the British guys, I'll tell the truth, were a little standoffish. But Ronnie was a great guy. And
was it a long run?
What was that?
Was that a long tour?
I don't really remember. It was probably 15 dates or so, and it went all over the country. And I think Billboard said it was the tour of the year, and it was fun in general. We played all the major venues across the country, and did great business. And Ronnie Dio was a spectacular singer, spectacular writer, and prince of a guy. And we all miss him.
True.
No doubt about it. And was still, he was another guy still performing at top level before he passed away. Amazing to think, Blue Öyster Cult still putting out great music, what Ronnie would have been doing today.
We did Hearing Aid also with Ronnie, Buck and I.
Was that you guys all played together, or was it Sabbath and Cult?
No, the Hearing Aid for the benefit for.
Okay, right. You played on the song.
African Relief.
Yep.
The We're Stars, that song.
Yep.
Are you aware of that?
Well, I am now. I'm aware of the song. Yes, there was quite a number of musicians involved in that.
It was a 2-day session where everybody from I wouldn't say metal, but hard rock.
Yeah.
Did 2 days. Probably will never be equaled in the pomposity and fun.
Were you guys all in the same room at any point? Were you in the room with other artists?
Oh yeah.
Any
Watch
good
the
stories
video
about
sometime.
that?
You can see it on YouTube.
There had to have been some good stories coming out of that session.
Oh, it was a good 25, 35 guys all in the same room singing the chorus together, and everybody of hard rock at the time was all in one room, and it will never be equaled. And it was Ronnie was running the show, or cracking the whip, or any way you want to call it. But it was a lot of fun.
Ronnie was in every sense of the word a real band leader. He definitely knew how to crack the whip and keep his guys in shape. And that was a pivotal moment in heavy metal, because that was sort of our We Are the World, if you want to put it that way.
It was after We Are the World, but Ronnie organized it, and Buck and I flew out there for that, and it was had some backing, and it was quite a couple of strange days.
Fun, strange days, though, I'm assuming.
It was absolutely fun. Fun from the beginning to the end. And if you could, one of your shows, you could show that video.
Yeah. It pops up on social media every now and again to remind people.
Classic.
Yeah, well, and it reminds people like there are good people in our genre of music in the rock world, and because you do more and more see people's good deeds in our world, that we're not just ruffians and
not just the metal
and meatheads. Yeah.
Exactly.
People do care.
Have a heart.
And that, yes, the metal community and the rock community has heart, and that was sort of the first public display of it. The other thing I remember from back in the day, Eric, was that Howard Stern always used to talk about how you guys were doppelgangers back in the day. Do you remember that?
Well, Howard and I are related by marriage, and he had me on the show in his earliest days 2-3 times. And I haven't talked or seen him in, I don't know,
That's pretty
years.
close.
So yeah, we're putting I don't know if you could see the photos up, Buck, but I tried to find two that did look as similar. But in these two photos, you kind of do, but I never really saw it. I always saw him and Joey Ramone a little closer, but
I usually get tagged as being the clone of Jeff Lynne.
Okay, yeah, in that photo for sure, yeah. So, but yeah, I remember Howard Jones used to talk about that on the air, and that's right. Now that you just jogged my memory, about you being in the video, and now that you were related to Howard by marriage. So, but that was a great memory that I always thought about from back in the heyday, and this album, The Symbol Remains, starts a new heyday for BOC, and hopefully you guys, obviously, along with everybody else, get on the road again sooner than later, and do what you do best.
We're looking forward to spreading the word, and hopefully people like the new tunes. And that's the main word on this. Let people know that we're still working, and new stuff. 3 new videos, will soon be 4. And it's on Frontiers Records, and we're very happy those guys took a chance with us, and they seem to be happy so far.
Yeah, great.
And, there's colored vinyl, there's colored CDs, and it's now 3 tracks of streaming. And what can I say? We're back.
Yeah, and I always push the vinyl. You got to get the vinyl. You got to go old school.
Did I read that right a couple weeks ago? That vinyl outsold CDs for the first time,
Yeah, vinyl's outselling CDs again, which is kind of cool, but you know, what comes around goes around, and CDs will come back. But yeah, I've only collected vinyl the last 10 years, so I look forward to getting the new record, The Symbol Remains, and more Cowbell 2021, please.
Well, no doubt about that.
Thanks so
If
much,
you watch
Eric.
the That Was Me video, you will see our original drummer Albert playing the cowbell.
Yeah, that's right. That was a little throwback with Albert with the cowbell. So, Eric, man, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Well, thanks, guys.
Be well.
Good talking.
Talk to you later. Cool. Yeah, man. I got the album yesterday, man. It's really good, man.